Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and game 2 in a best of 5 series between Joe and iNSoLeNCE here on Lost Temple. Joe spawning as the green Protoss player at the, what I'll call the 8 o'clock position. Meanwhile, iNSoLeNCE spawned at the 3 o'clock location as the red Protoss. So Protoss versus Protoss, mirror matches in the finals of the Compacto Cup. Game 1 on Xel'Naga Caverns. If you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and take a look at that. That was a pretty decent match, I would say. I don't want to give anything away. Go ahead and watch it in all of its glory. Joe spawning over here will quickly perhaps try to get a pylon and now move out. Obviously not trying to do anything strange or cheesy on this particular map, just because it is much more difficult to try to find and scout out your opponent, and your opponent will be able to scout you out fairly quickly. We now see very early scouting coming in from Joe. So Joe, yeah, using that early scout, will be able to move around the map and be able to quickly see up this ramp. What the timing on this will allow Joe to do is, if Joe gets into this location before iNSoLeNCE really does any biz scouting, no, he is now going to scout out as well. And now iNSoLeNCE will not be able to find a Hasu for quite some time either. Both players pretty much playing in the dark so far. Pretty standard play. Gateways coming in, pylons, pylon, gateway. Perhaps a assimilator will be coming in just a moment after the chrono boosting has come to a stop. We already see the assimilator coming in from iNSoLeNCE. So iNSoLeNCE just a little bit ahead so far as he's now chrono boosting more probes out. We do see one probe coming in from Joe. Will be able to wander around the inside of here very, very easily. Get a lot of sight, get a lot of information, as an additional pylon should be warping in from iNSoLeNCE after he trains up another probe. Is he gonna, yeah, there we go, there's that other probe, now warping a pylon as well, and then get this game underway. Back over here, we now see Joe not yet up with that gateway. He does have his assimilator currently warping in. It is not completed, so iNSoLeNCE will also have a little bit of an economic lead as a cybernetics core now coming in. Interestingly enough, we do not see a pylon just quite yet, so it was a cybernetics core before a pylon. And what that will mean is iNSoLeNCE will not be able to chrono boost this Nexus, just because if he chrono boosts that Nexus, he will become supply locked for just a little bit of time. But perhaps he's trying to use that additional energy for the warp gate research and trying to chrono boost out one stalker. So down goes that pylon. Now he will be able to chrono boost that cybernetics core, getting that warp gate research, and then perhaps getting a stalker out in just a moment once he has enough minerals. Currently just training up more and more probes, so very, very strong economic game coming in from iNSoLeNCE so far, as he's wandering around with this run probe, dodging that one probe over there. And now back here we now see a second gateway being placed down by Joe. So Joe now going in for a 2-gate build. Meanwhile, we have a 1-gate with a cybernetics core researching, and now another gateway as well. Also iNSoLeNCE going for double assimilators. We do not see an additional assimilator down for Joe just quite yet. So he will be forced to train up more zealots and sentries zealots and stalkers than sentries, just because he does not have nearly the same amount of gas. iNSoLeNCE finally getting that stalker out, able to take down that scouting probe, and now perhaps this stalker will try to move out into the field and get some damage dealt. Stalker, wanting to make sure that there is no proxy pylon anywhere inside his base, will quickly see that there is not, and then make its way back over here and try to guard his ramp. Meanwhile, iNSoLeNCE will be moving out with the Stalker. The Stalker perhaps will activate this Xel'Naga Watchtower and then keep track of what exactly Joe's doing inside his base. Joe currently running up into 3-gate. Meanwhile, we have iNSoLeNCE going into a 2-gate with the robotics facility. He is also getting some sentries in order to be able to watch his choke point there, as we now have a Joe sitting on a Stalker and a sentry here. Joe also warping in another pylon. Warp gate research is nearing completion, and now zealots are being warped out as well, as that warp gate research has been completed. So iNSoLeNCE 2-gate with the robotics facility. Perhaps we'll get some immortals in order to deal with those stalkers, or perhaps get some Colossus. Colossus being able to walk up that ramp very, very easily, even if there is a force field, and it simply can also avoid that ramp if it needs to and walk up these cliffs. But he really wants to stay on that ramp, making sure that sentries are not able to drop any force fields down. We do see a stalker quickly turning around, getting a shot off on a zealot. One sentry could have trapped that stalker on the wrong side of the tracks, wrong side of the ramp, and that stalker could have been taken down. But Joe does know exactly what's happening, and now we do see the robotics bay coming in. So robotics bay now coming online after in about what, 90 or 80 game seconds, or probably 90 to 100 game seconds. We should be seeing Colossus coming out, and those Colossus are very, very strong in a Protoss mirror match. I believe after patch 1.2 though, Void Rays with their additional damage to massive units will be able to stop early Colossus rushes much more easily. That is something that I am looking forward to in the variety in the Protoss versus Protoss mirror match. We do see one, I believe that was a probe. I can't really quite tell from the remnances. It could have been a stalker, but yeah, down it goes. Taking a look at the losses. Actually, that was a stalker, so the stalker was now taken down. We now see an observer wandering around on the inside, and now iNSoLeNCE's observer was quickly taken down as well. So that could have been just another observer. Observers do cost 50 minerals and 100 gas, as this is part of patch 1.1.2. They have not been cost adjusted just quite yet. One observer now on the way out. Joe able to just walk around or fly around with that observer, knowing that iNSoLeNCE can't do anything at all, and now out moves a probe as well. The one observer will be trying to keep track of this army, but he does not know about stalkers and then this Colossus, which will be coming out in just a moment. Perhaps after getting about another 100 gas, which will be about another 30 game seconds, he will get even more Colossus. And as soon as he gets those Colossus are going to be able to deal so much damage and gain sight onto that high ground, which is absolutely critical. Joe does not know the trouble that he's in just quite yet. He is getting a Colossus of his own, and now this is a very small window for iNSoLeNCE to attack with. iNSoLeNCE needs to move out with this Colossus, but he will be fighting blind, so that is always dangerous, as this one Colossus stalker is going to be able to take some damage as well. Oh no, not taking any damage, no critical damage, as the Guardian Shield now coming up, and now in comes this Colossus here. Colossus dealing a lot of damage, trying to continue to push, now going to be able to take down one pylon here, as more units still being warped in as well, and now going after some of these production buildings, making sure to stay in a very, very tight ball here, going after the mineral line, and now Joe unable to mine any further. We do see another Colossus over here, but Joe already a little bit behind that. He's currently supply locked as these units are continuing to walk around the map. Will he be able to get down even more of these production buildings? More probes trying to come in, trying to go after the robotics bay, and now this Colossus, which is able to walk over units, able to deal a lot of damage. Colossus fighting back against multiple zealots, and now in comes a force field, so those stalkers will not be able to engage until that Colossus takes it down, and there it goes. Both sides fighting back and forth. One Colossus now taken down. The Colossus of iNSoLeNCE still has a lot of hit points so far, as it's continuing to just try to back off. Will it be able to escape? No, it will not be able to escape, as iNSoLeNCE is continuing to deal a lot of damage. Now going after more probes, continuing to deal damage towards those probes, trying to move around the map. Probes are getting shot down one at a time, down to 21 probes, and there it goes. So a very, very effective early harassment in order to try to take down a strong economy. But Joe now needs to mount a very, very strong counterattack. I'm taking a look at the army size of iNSoLeNCE. iNSoLeNCE needs to continue to chrono boost this Colossus. Otherwise, he's going to quickly find himself fighting up an uphill battle against a lot of stalkers and zealots. One observer now in the air. We see more zealots now currently warping in, currently chrono boosting another Colossus, and that Colossus will be able to get out in about, I would say, another 30 or 45 game seconds or so if another Nexus is able to get another chrono boost off. No, going the chrono boost on the extended thermal lance range, so that is going to be very risky. If Joe attacks at this very, very moment, or within the next about 60 seconds, he should be able to just simply brute force his way up this ramp. However, the longer he waits, the more time this robotics bay research will be completed. And now with two Colossus and perhaps another chrono boost on the research, that research is already halfway done. So another game minute or so, if he gets a chrono boost onto that robotics bay, will change the game very, very dramatically. Joe, with this observer, knows that this is currently being researched, and now getting another chrono boost off of this Colossus, and now with 3 Colossi, this may be enough to reach critical mass, as those Colossi are going to be able to deal 90 damage per attack or round of attack, and they attack relatively quickly. So those Colossus now standing tall will try to fight back against these zealots, stalkers, and another Colossus here. Joe does have the larger army, but the tech army advantage goes definitely to iNSoLeNCE, as iNSoLeNCE now moves out with this one Colossus. Are we going to get some additional zealots? No additional zealots, as iNSoLeNCE now wants to rinse and repeat and try to push out once again. Both sides have evened up the economic fight. This one pylon down here may take a lot of damage, and now in come these Colossus. Colossus will be able to perhaps force and deal damage here. There we go. And those Colossi taking a lot of damage so far, as the extended thermal lance range makes it very difficult for those Stalkers to get within range. Those Stalkers trying to move around, trying to get within combat range, and those Colossus just can simply walk up onto that high ground, and if it walks up onto that high ground and then takes down this other Colossus, he will be able to use that line of sight advantage and now completely take the game, and now Joe is forced to say GG. So Joe now down 2-0, I believe, after losing game 1 on Xel'Naga Caverns. So there will be a game 3 in this best of 5 series. Will Joe be able to force a game 4, or will Joe end up losing to iNSoLeNCE in 3 straight matches? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between iNSoLeNCE and Joe here on Lost Temple.